Hey guys, Josiah here with Aesthetyx Fitness. In today's video, I'm going to talk about training for function versus training for aesthetics. Alright, so before I get started with today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and click that little bell icon. That way every time I come out with a new video, you guys are getting notified and not missing out on any great new content. Also, if you feel like it really helps me out if you hit that like button down below as well. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, so those of you who have followed my channel for some time are probably familiar with sort of the philosophy of my channel, and that is that regardless if you are striving to just be the most functionally fit person ever with no regards to the overall aesthetics of your physique, or whether you only care about the aesthetics of your physique and have no cares at all about functional training and strength and endurance, that the best way to achieve your goals is with a hybrid combination of both functional training and aesthetics-oriented training, because they both have skills and both have effects that carry over and cross over between the two of them. They do not exist in their own little bubbles. And it still blows my mind that this kind of my camp versus your camp thinking still exists within the fitness community, because there's so much crossover and so many great beneficial effects that you can have on your training discipline from adopting methods used in other specific goal-oriented training disciplines. And yet for some reason I still hear other YouTubers saying things like, it doesn't matter how strong you are, it just matters how strong you look. Well, guess what? If you want to look as strong as possible, one easy way to get there is to get a lot stronger. Similarly, I've heard other people say, I don't care what I look like, I don't care about aesthetics, all I want to do is be as strong and fast and have as much endurance as possible. Well, guess what? If you're training for strength, using bodybuilding and powerlifting style motions and tracking your workouts and working with low rep, high weight sets is one of the fastest ways to get there. So let's talk a little bit more about this philosophy of the channel and why, regardless of what your goals are, using both functional and aesthetic style training methods are going to help you achieve your goals in the most efficient, effective, and healthy way possible. So let's start with how aesthetics-based movements can help you in your functional fitness-based training goals. So what is functional fitness? Generally speaking, it is fitness and training that is going to be reflected in abilities that carry over into the real world and your daily life. Whether you're a person that plays sports or works a manual labor job, or just want to know that if you need to pick up and move something heavy, you'll be able to do that effectively without tiring yourself out and in a healthy way. So movements like the deadlift and squat that teach you to really lift with your legs, not with your back, maintain some real strong, heavy core tension and be able to lift up a heavy object and move it in a functional way. For instance, if you're going to be moving a piano out of your house, you're going to be doing a deadlift and a farmer's carry to get it out the front door. Or things like tire flips and Atlas stone carries that deal with moving big, heavy, awkwardly shaped objects. Or things that deal with moving your own body weight around efficiently in a controlled manner, things like pull-ups, rope climbs, and push-ups. So if that describes your current interest and you're a person who generally trains in a more CrossFit style with maybe some circuit training and large, heavy compound lifts performed for high reps and a lot of endurance work in there, let me tell you, you can benefit too from doing some additional aesthetics-oriented bodybuilding stuff. And that may sound strange, but what I mean by that is that working isolation movements and unilateral movements into your training can really help combat muscle imbalances in your body. And muscle imbalances can be very detrimental to having a really functionally fit body. And therein lies the disadvantage to only doing compound lifts, is that muscle weaknesses and slight, unilateral deficiencies can mask themselves and hide in greater compound movements. If your glutes are a little bit weak and your quads are taking over when you do squats, you may not know that until you start trying to do glute isolation exercises. Not that I'm saying everybody needs to do that, but for instance, if you have one side that's a little bit weaker than the other, if you're being able to use both sides with every exercise and you're flipping big tires, then you may not know that you are compensating with your right side to make up for your weaker left side, etc. So by working unilateral training and also isolation training, you can ensure that you're bringing up the strength of all of your muscles evenly, so you're not stressing your joints and tendons unnaturally by having muscle imbalances. And a great example of this would be your biceps, because they are something that people who are stereotypically and traditionally into really functional fitness kind of hate to train with isolation movements because they don't see a functional benefit to being able to do a lot of bicep curls. However, EMG studies have shown that in order to maximally train your biceps for strength, you need to be doing an isolation movement for them, because just relying on big compound movements, things like pull-ups and rows that also involve your back, are not going to train your biceps sufficiently, because your back can take over and perform most of the motion without help from your biceps. Obviously, your biceps are used to complete the movement, but they are not the primary movers and are not trained as hard as your larger muscles are when they end up taking over during the lift. Another great discipline that functional fitness athletes can borrow from the more bodybuilding and aesthetics world is consistency and tracking in your workouts. A lot of times people who are interested in functional fitness try to do a different workout every time, or at least change up their workouts very frequently, which is great for, giving yourself a varied skill set and helping you adjust to new things and build your endurance with unfamiliar movements, but it doesn't give you that linear progression of strength and stability with specific movements and exercises. So for instance, if you want to get stronger in a motion, performing that same motion every workout and tracking the reps and sets that you do of it and trying to increase those and build your strength is really good to be able to see that linear progression, which helps motivate you and also ensure that you are not just spinning your wheels staying in the same place, but are in fact moving up in strength and stamina or endurance or however you're trying to train. And now we step over to the other side of the playing field, and that is people who are just concerned with aesthetics and building a really good looking body and how functional training can help benefit them. First, let's get this out of the way. If the only thing you care about is trying to look as good as possible, my guess is you're primarily working out to impress other people with your godlike physique. If that's the case, then you should also be worried about if people need to see you performing manual labor because they will expect you to be as strong as you look. And if you suddenly can't chop wood and can't lift something heavy even though you've got all these show muscles, then your fitness is suddenly going to bring down your attractiveness level quite a bit because you will no longer be as impressively known as that guy. But let's say you really are just training for yourself. What can you take away from functional fitness that's going to be helpful in your aesthetics fitness journey? One of the major things is the injury proofing and versatility that functional training offers. Working more compound movements in your training is going to help train more muscles at once, which will not only allow you to be able to shorten your time in the gym by actually exercising more muscles at once rather than having to isolate for your biceps, isolate for your triceps, isolate for your front delts, side delts, rear delts, upper chest, lower chest, upper abs, lower abs, middle back, traps. You know, if you're trying to isolate all of those little muscle groups, you're going to be spending hours in the gym and really wasting your time because you're not training them as effectively as you could be by working in more compound exercises, things that work your chest, front delts, and triceps, along with things that work your back, biceps, and rear delts. By doing this, you can actually shorten your time in the gym and give yourself heavier, more satisfying, more functional training and allow yourself to build to your goals faster. Also, because functional training has more carryover to the real world, you are less likely to injure yourself doing, like I said, heavy manual labor if you're moving or doing something that could end up injuring you and keeping you out of the gym for longer. By having that stable base of strength and that knowledge of good form and the ability to lift heavy loads in functional ways, you're going to keep yourself functionally fit so that your time in the gym doesn't have to get cut short by you injuring yourself because you don't know how to deadlift a couch. And similarly to how I said that isolation movements can help prevent muscle imbalances in people who are doing a lot of compound exercises, performing functional compound lifts can really help strengthen your bone density, your joints, and your tendons, which are often weak failing points in people who are only doing lighter weight or more isolation movements. Now there is so much more that I could go into this topic, so maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video, but it's already getting a little long for today, so I will wrap it up and just say, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like down below and comment down below with any thoughts you have on today's video and any other carryovers and cross disciplines that you can think of between functional training and aesthetics training. Let me know that in the comments down below, and of course subscribe to my channel because I have new content coming out all the time so that I can help you guys train smarter and look better.